This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com with my weekly review of the news points I find interesting in Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer. If anyone wants to see another train wreck interview, check out my interview with Dark Journey from last night, who I don't know if this stuff on her table here when she dropped her phone is residue, or let's hope that it's actually part of the table. But she seemed really fucked up in that interview, and it's really annoying. She was about 2 hours late for the interview, then was totally screwed up. I'm supposed to interview John Nord, the Berserker, tomorrow at 11:30 p.m., and Ken Resnick posted this picture earlier today of Nord with a beer in his hand. He does have a lot of alcohol issues, so let's hope that he does better than Dark Journey did when I interview him tomorrow. Last time I was supposed to interview Nord, he ended up in jail, so it got canceled for DUI-related stuff. Let me start the news off with AEW news, because the AEW news this week is a little more interesting than WWE. There's a lot of reports that both Daniel Bryan, aka Bryan Danielson, and CM Punk are going to AEW. According to the Observer, with Danielson, it was first reported by Bodyslam.net that he signed with AEW and will debut on the September 22nd event, which is a Dynamite taping at Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York. Apparently, Brian Alvarez heard the same thing regarding Danielson's debut, and of course, Alvarez is friends with a lot of people in AEW. Nobody has confirmed or denied this as far as Danielson or AEW officially. This might be something that they will keep a secret until the debut, or they might announce it earlier to get more interest in that show. As far as CM Punk, according to Meltzer's WWE sources, the internal belief from WWE is that Punk has signed with AEW. A number of things going on behind the scenes would indicate this is correct, but AEW hasn't confirmed this either. WWE was not interested in Punk. However, AEW being interested in him might change their tune on that. 2 years ago, and I do recall this, AEW said they would never do business with Punk, but of course, never say never in wrestling. As is shown time and time again, CM Punk is 42 now and has not wrestled since January 26th, 2014. With Daniel Bryan, he will probably want to work with New Japan as well, and would probably be allowed to work some other U.S. dates. One of the things that WWE President Nick Khan tried to do when he was trying to get a New Japan relationship with WWE going was have something where WWE wrestlers could work in New Japan to please people like Bryan, who wanted to wrestle for them. Meltzer points out that Lance Archer winning the New Japan US title on the Dynamite show this past week is a good indication that AEW's relationship with New Japan is fairly strong right now. Danielson is 40 right now, and apparently he had sent a memo to WWE to remove his likeness from things like upcoming video games, which would also indicate that he won't be returning to WWE. The September 22nd Arthur Ashe Stadium in Queens, New York Dynamite taping that there is the talk of Daniel Bryan debuting on has already topped 15,000 tickets in ticket sales, which would make it the biggest non-WWE drawing crowd since the January 5th, 1999 WCW Georgia Dome taping in Atlanta that drew 25,338 fans. Thunder Rosa has officially signed with AEW. She had been trying to get out of her NWA contract for a while, and apparently she finally got out of it on July 1st and signed shortly after. I don't blame her for wanting to get out of that NWA contract. They're having problems drawing 50 people to TV tapings in NWA. Chavo Guerrero Jr. is replacing Vicky Guerrero as the manager of Andrade in AEW. Jake Roberts has signed a 2-year contract extension with AEW as well. Ryan Moonshine Mantell, the Texas independent wrestler, who I'm friends with, sadly lost on 3 AEW darks in a row, including in Texas last week, in less than 2 minutes. AEW did a 0.44 rating for their July 21st Garland, Texas event. They did 5,688 fans with 5,400 paid. And as I mentioned, a 0.44 rating, which is better than a lot of Raws and SmackDowns have done in recent months. So it's safe to say AEW is now competing with WWE rather than NXT, although NXT did its best rating in a while, 0.2 July 21st, in front of 180 fans in Orlando, Florida. So they got out of the 0.1s. I don't know why, and I already mentioned this, they had Karrion Kross, the NXT champion, lose to Jeff Hardy on Raw this past week. I don't see the point in that. They debut the NXT champion on Raw, and he loses. It's bizarre to me. Speaking of that Raw, it also featured the return of Goldberg and John Cena, and it only did a 0.57 rating. It was recorded in Dallas in front of 9,200 fans with 7,700 paid. SmackDown, the first SmackDown in front of fans, last Friday night did a 0.66 rating in front of 14,496 fans with 12,800 paid in Houston, Texas. Davey Boy Smith Jr., under the name Harry Smith, had a dark match before that SmackDown. Apparently he's been signed for months, and originally they wanted him to be a star on the UK brand, but due to COVID-related travel issues, that hasn't happened yet. They did do a backstage interview with him after SmackDown. It seemed to be a lackluster way of debuting Smith, like putting him in a dark tag team match with 3 relative unknown wrestlers and then just having him do a backstage interview after that didn't even air on SmackDown. It just aired on the internet. Apparently, WWE is already interested in bringing Braun Strowman back. They probably just released him to get out of the big money they were paying him. And they're probably going to sign him back for less money because I haven't heard of him appearing on any independent shows yet. But he might not be able to because he might still be under his no-compete clause. The July 18th Money in the Bank pay-per-view in Fort Worth had 9,979 fans in attendance with 9,000 paid. To boost house show attendance, John Cena is now going to be appearing on WWE house shows starting tonight, where he'll be on the SmackDown, but he'll be on house shows as well for the next month until August 21st. This is due apparently to most of these house shows having weak advance ticket sales. SummerSlam has 42,462 tickets out, and they could have up to 60,000 people at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas with a legitimate sellout. The September 17th SmackDown taping in Atlanta was canceled. They only had 1,700 tickets out, including comps. So the show is going to be moved somewhere else. The sexual harassment lawsuit filed by Brick McHenry against Fox and former WWE star George Brodus Clay Murdoch, also known as Tyrus, was settled out of court on July 19th. McHenry got an undisclosed amount of money. The Impact tapings, July 18th and 19th in Nashville, both drew under 200 fans. UFC on ESPN from Las Vegas on July 17th did 0.28 rating, with the prelims doing a 0.19 rating, indicating that wrestling still does better on TV than MMA. Martin tips me $13.99, says he loves the channel. Have a great weekend. Thank you, Martin. I will put that towards my next interview. I am a little pissed off still that my interview with Dark Journey last night only went 35 minutes when I paid for an hour. Raven fan 842, how do I feel about CM Punk going to AEW? I don't think he's going to draw the lapse fan. I think he will help draw in Chicago because they're doing 3 tapings in Chicago. Only the pay-per-view is sold out right now, so he will help draw in Chicago. His first appearances will help ratings, but long-term, I don't think he's going to make much difference. He was an embarrassment to wrestling with his UFC performances. And the WWE Fox show that he was on got canceled after only about 6 months. So I don't think he'll make a big difference. But the AEW fans, the fans that like AEW, they're the type that are also CM Punk fans. So for the people already watching, they'll be happy about that. Wendell, what happened to Sergeant Buddy Lee Parker? He's a flake. He's a complete flake. Maverick, I think, is saying my interview with Dark Journey looked crazy. Bera7331 tips me $5 towards future interviews. Thank you. I appreciate it. Mark says she started fine, then got more and more worn down. Well, she was 2 fucking hours late. And I am a busy guy, and I hate having my time wasted. Really don't appreciate people that waste my time. Someone brings up that she seemed a little confused during the interview. Yeah, I agree. Shadow or someone says that CM Punk is signed, reported this evening that he's been signed for 2 days. Well, I didn't see that reported in the Observer, but it's possible, very possible that he's signed. Let me look up another site if he's actually signed. I don't know where you're seeing that he's officially signed because I'm checking the credible news sites and I don't see anything that says he's officially been signed. But there is heavy rumor that he's probably signed. Benny Watts says WCW 2.0 with AEW hiring all the people WWE doesn't want anymore. I agree. Ivan brings up my shoot with Dark Journey was weird. Jake M, is CM Punk going to bring AJ Lee with him? I think that would be good. I'd rather see AJ Lee than CM Punk personally, to be perfectly honest with you. She was signed out of the same WWE tryout that I was signed from in 2009, by the way. Maria, thanks for the $5. I really appreciate it. Colonel Quayle, will Daniel Bryan draw? Again, the first couple of times he appears, people will check him out. But AEW has so many small wrestlers that he's just, to me, flipping through the channels, he's just another small wrestler. You guys can say all you want. Maybe some of you are fans of that stupid yes thing, but to me, I don't think that was cool. I know a lot of wrestling fans are geeks. Let's face the facts. And they like that cheesy type of stuff, but I thought it was like really nerdish, the whole yes chant thing. AEW needs Braun Strowman. Somebody says, I don't know. Honestly, I don't have any interest in watching any wrestling anymore, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not a wrestling fan. I've lost my interest in it. The Blood Hunter is pretty much the only wrestler I'm interested in watching because I like his vicious, violent style. And I'll watch girls' matches if they're attractive because it's fun to watch hot girls roll around in tights. Wendell says CM Punk embarrassed himself in UFC and has lost interest from casual fans. Well, his whole deal was he was supposed to be like the martial artist, this tough guy, even though even Ted Hart beat him up. So I think it takes away from his tough guy image that he had literally embarrassing performances in UFC. And the second guy that he fought, that was the second guy's only fight in UFC. And he was also 0-1. So the second guy he lost to was not even a good fighter. He's never fought again in MMA, to my knowledge. Sean Andrew loves this channel. Thank you. Do I plan on interviewing any wrestlers from AEW? I don't. If they can, according to their contract, I would. But I don't know if they can or not. I have to go to the gym right now. So that's the Wrestling Observer review. I really appreciate the people that tipped. Oh, I will. Thanks for the view, Joe. I can call fans nerds if I want. I'm not calling all fans nerds. I'm calling the fans that like the geeky kind of wrestling nerds. Yes, I am. I have the right to do that. The old school style of wrestling was cool. The Attitude Era was cool. But the acrobatic, goofy, fake-looking style presented by mostly midget wrestlers or mini wrestlers, if you want me to call them a more appropriate word, that's not cool. Galaxy says they are nerds. And as Ogre would say, the AEW fans are nerds. From Revenge of the Nerds, one of the great movies out there.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free